Afternoon, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving, Carleen.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Are you cooking today?
I am cooking. It's going to be a small Thanksgiving for us, but I've already started my homemade stuffing. I actually
Mm.
chopped the bread and dry it out at 250 in the oven with like all my spices from my herb garden. So yes, it's on.
Wow. I'm a Pepperidge Farm spice stuffing, and then I add extra stuff to zhuzh it up.
I'm gluten free, so I had to learn how to adapt. And actually, I will never go back now that I have to make it from scratch. Love it.
Really?
Hmm.
All right, I might have to get that recipe from you.
All right, let's talk about it later.
All right, so let's talk about questions to ask your potential bookkeeping firm because I know I send all my clients to you who don't have bookkeepers that they love. And I don't never tell them what to ask you, but so tell us, what do they should they be asking?
Well, I will say one of the things is when we interview, or it is an interview, like as much as the potential prospect is interviewing me as a bookkeeper, I'm interviewing them to see if it's a good fit. So our goal is to pull as much information from them to make sure that we can support them. So, and not every bookkeeper can do that. I mean, it just depends on the person's personality. And the reason we're even having this conversation today about like what to ask a potential bookkeeper is because it's the end of the year, so for a lot of people, either they've realized they haven't touched their books all year, or
Okay.
maybe they're not happy with their current provider. And people tend to think beginning of year, the whole fresh start kind of a thing. So I figured this might be some good information. So there are quite a few questions, and we're going to kind of go through a few of them because we are our audience today, interior designers. Ask them how many interior designers have they worked with. Um,
Because it's a very different business
it
model.
is a very different business model. Now, granted, you can't get experience working with interior designers until you actually work with them. Case in point, at one point I had never worked with them until I do.
Right.
But if you're a brand new interior designer and maybe you don't have a lot of heavy transactions, you can take a risk and help trade a new bookkeeper with you. But if you've been in business a while and you have a lot of FF&E, you have a lot of stuff going on, you really want someone who has some experience. So find out how many have they worked with in the past.
Agreed completely. And like you said, sometimes you take a chance on someone who's also new in business and they're like, I'll learn everything I can.
Right.
And you'll be my, first client as an interior designer. But once you start really rolling, you don't want to be trying to teach
No.
somebody. That's part of the problem of bringing on new firms, right? You're like, oh
Right.
God, I'm going to have to teach them my system. As
Exactly.
opposed to an experienced firm like yours will say, come into our system. And that cleans up all the crap that they've been dealing with.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And because you are an interior designer, if you are using outside software like Modoba, House Pro, Design Files, find out if they have experience with it. Because if they don't, that's going to be a harder hurdle to overcome because not only do they have to learn the lingo, they have to learn how things work, retainers and things like that, but making sure that those outside software integrate with QuickBooks, and because sometimes it won't work, but sometimes these just don't integrate the way they're supposed to. If they've never worked with it, it becomes a lot harder for them to support you and understand how to fix it. And I've seen some really messy stuff out there, so be
Oh, yeah,
careful. Yeah.
definitely, definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah, because in general, designers are creatives and they like to ignore their numbers, as a generalized statement. But if you
Exactly.
can get yourself to look at them and actually understand them and have a great bookkeeper, it makes your life so much better.
Well, and that's funny that you mentioned that because that's one of the things that you want to find out is that this is for any industry. Like, uh, how often do I receive financial reports? Yes, as a business owner, you can go into QuickBooks and pull them yourself, but are you getting them from your bookkeeper? And are they sending you something that's maybe a bit above what QuickBooks puts out automatically? So we use a third party software for reporting, as you know, that has a bit more metrics and kind of gives a narrative as to what's. Look at that.
Had it handy for our live. I
Thank you.
love, I love the monthly financial report, and I love the fact that you give me the option to hop on the phone with you or with a rep
Yes.
if I have any questions about it. It's
You're
just like,
stealing my thunder today because that was the next one. I was gonna
oh, I'm
say,
so sad.
find
I
out.
love you. That's why I'm just going to tell everyone you need a
There you
bookkeeper. Get
go.
it,
Right.
Carleen. Yeah.
Ask them how often are you meeting with them because you and I both know there are people who maybe they have a bookkeeper and they never talk with them other than if there's a problem, but it's not like a community. There's no relationship, right? Like our goal at C2 Accounting is to literally be your accounting department and to be a partner. We want to be viewed as a financial partner, not a vendor, like someone I just pay to do something, and they're kind of over there in the corner. It's like, no, no, no. We're part of your business. We understand it. We understand you and your business, and that's super important for us.
Yes, definitely. You're part of the team.
Yeah, part of the team. Find out how big their team is.
Mhm.
Because that makes a difference. Again, if you're super small, you can afford to go with someone who's a one person show. But if they get sick, what happens to your
That's what I
bookkeeping?
was just gonna say,
Yeah,
Carleen.
it's
You know,
kind of like what
I had a one-man show, and it was difficult at times if he was busy with bigger clients, or if he was on
mm,
vacation, if
wow,
he
yeah,
lost a staff member, like it's hard. So sometimes somebody who's actively growing their business like you are and bringing on enough staff and training them properly to go into the system, it's helpful to
right,
have a
yeah.
growing firm, not someone who's just gonna be like a one-person show sometimes.
Exactly, exactly. That's the thing because, as a business owner, just like you as the client want to take a vacation, I want to take a vacation. And so what's the contingency for when your bookkeeper is sick, is on vacation, or whatever? So making sure that hopefully they have a team that can support them and you as well, and you have a way to reach their team members in case they are out of the office. Um, we talked about financial reports. We talked about how often can they meet with you. Oh, here's another one. Will you manage sales taxes? No, not. I don't manage sales taxes for all of my clients. Some of them, they their state is very simple. They do it themselves. But if sales taxes is one of those things that just kind of gets your another Achilles heel, it's just something that's really bothersome for you. Finding out if they can do it, and if they have experience in your state. We have clients right now in about 17 states. So we can't be experts in every state, but if there is a client that wants us to, we will learn. We will learn their state's requirements to make sure we can support them fully. So sales taxes, obviously, as an interior designer, is a big thing.
It is a big thing,
Um,
especially if they're selling in multiple states.
yes, and
That's
understanding all of those rules. And I will say this: if you are selling in multiple states, talk to your bookkeeper before you make that sale in the
I
state where you
know, they
don't live.
always wait until after and found out,
After,
and they charge the wrong percentage, and they have to either go back to the client, or they have to return money, or have them
yes,
pay more.
exactly.
Yeah, it's a
Have those
pain.
conversations ahead of time. So, and that leads us to the next question: how often can I communicate with you, or how do I communicate with you? Um, there are firms, like especially with CPA firms, where you may find that they will charge you for every phone call.
Mm,
Find out what that's like. Are you limited to X amount of hours per month, or is it just kind of support, part of your package that you purchase from them?
okay.
But you can ask questions via email, phone calls, whatever. That's super important because if you have an issue, you don't want to have to like, can I afford to reach out?
No, I know you want to talk to your bookkeeper, and you have to pay them extra to do that, right? I love how you do it. I mean, I don't know if the meeting's 15 minutes or whatever on a calendar, but it's important that I know I can get on your calendar. And most of the time I don't, because I know I can.
Exactly. And we have a very flexible scheduling, so our clients can ask us most anything. Now there are times where it goes above and beyond like the normal bookkeeping we may charge, but that's seriously rare for us nowadays. So we try to be as accommodating as possible.
Awesome.
Um, ask your bookkeeper or potential bookkeeper how often will they categorize your transactions? And here's why. And you are a great example because as a monthly client, we are going to go in and categorize your transactions monthly. That's in our state, that's in our contract. We make it very clear. Now, there may be times where we can go in sooner if we have the time, but
Yes.
contractually, it's monthly. So if you're someone who needs like I need to know how my business is doing this week, then you need to understand and make sure that you are willing to pay for someone to do that on a weekly basis.
Yeah, because that's what happened to me, right? I have to
Mhm,
make decisions for big money sometimes if
very
I'm
quickly.
investing in a bit of sponsorship of some kind. So I asked you if we could do it more often. And yeah, that's a upcharge, and that's I expected it. And it helps me make financial decisions on the fly, because my QuickBooks is really updated so often that I always know what I'm
Exactly.
dealing with.
So
Good.
understand what you're looking for and what you need, and that the person can deliver. So that goes back to if you save a few dollars by going for a cheaper firm or someone who's smaller, do they have the capacity to get your information to you on a monthly basis? If you need it sooner, are they even capable of doing it on a weekly basis? They
Right.
may not be able to.
Right.
And then finally, I want to say two things about billing. One, find out how they bill. Are they billing hourly? Is it monthly? Because I just mentioned how we try to include everything in our package because that's how we charge. We flat fee per month. There's no surprises. You know exactly what you're going to get. Not everyone bills that way. So find out what you're comfortable with.
Okay.
And then finally, what's included, right? So yes, I'm going to pay flat fee, yay! But wait a second, what does that mean? Like, what are you actually going to do? And make sure that's spelled out so that there's no confusion between you or the bookkeeper. That you know exactly what you're getting, what you're paid for.
Perfect. So what am I getting for what I'm paying for? And if
Hmm.
it's not an hourly bookkeeper where it's a flat fee like you have, what can I expect every month?
Exactly.
Reconciliation, matching of my transactions, a 15-minute appointment if I need it to discuss it, and an amazing, I don't know how many page, 15-page report
Hmm.
on how
Hmm.
I'm doing every month.
And actually,
Um,
our monthly meetings are 30 minutes. So
30 minutes. Okay.
yeah, there
So
you go. Even
there
longer.
you go.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing that you've incorporated all this, and I think people will hear because of all this, you're priced super high. And I want to tell everybody, nope, reasonable, fair, and amazing service.
Thank
So I
you.
don't want people to think, oh my God, they do all that. That means they must be more expensive. Every single person I have referred to you, you charge in line or slightly less than their current bookkeeper. So there's no upcharge for all the extra things they get with your company, is
Yeah,
what I want to.
we try our very best. Now, like everyone else, things are going up, so we may have to increase prices, but I still think we are super fair for
I
what we
think so.
offer. Yeah.
I think so too. All right. All right. Tell everyone how to find you.
C2 accounting. So and you got me last month, and I haven't changed it yet, but www.c2-accttg.com, or just Google us, C2 accounting. I'm in business support, or just Google Carleen Lamay. You'll find me.
You'll find her or tag her in any Facebook group that I'm in and you'll
Yes.
find her too.
Exactly.
So, all right. Thank you, Colleen. Have a beautiful Thanksgiving and I
Thank you. Happy
appreciate.
Thanksgiving to you. Then let me know if you want that recipe, and I will gladly pass it along.
Well, not this time because I already made my stuffing, but maybe for next year I want to try something new. So I
Yes,
might
there you
actually
go.
reach out to you. It sounds good.
Awesome.
So,
Have a
all
happy
right,
Thanksgiving,
everyone.
everyone. Take care.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.